I was looting this massive pyramid when I accidentally triggered its collapse. The pyramid is insanely dangerous, and if I die, the video ends. I had finally made it to the sarcophagus. Buried below it would be the treasure I was seeking, so I began digging, and sure enough, I found the hidden chest. I opened it up and inside found the Totem of Undying, a legendary piece of scientific equipment. I quickly grabbed it, but as soon as I did, something was triggered and the entryway collapsed. Suddenly, lava began pouring out of the roof. I looked around the room, hoping for a way out, and noticed that the wall was decaying in one spot. I broke through and found a tunnel behind it. I quickly ran down it to escape the lava and found a short drop into some water. I dropped down and found some vents that I had to break. I then swam through them and found another hallway. I figured I was safe here, so I stopped for a moment to look at the treasure I had traveled massive distances for. I began looking at it and was shocked. It was not the Totem of Undying, but rather a fake. I knew there was no way I could go back, so I just continued forward. In front of me, there were some gold blocks and a lever. I decided to flick the lever and some pistons were triggered, which revealed a lava flow. I approached it and saw no way through, and since I had some blocks from when I dug under the tomb, I used them to block off the lava. But after the lava had cleared, I found nothing there. I knew I was missing something, so I searched the area. After a bit, I found that one of the blocks in the wall was different from the rest. I broke it, and behind it was a hopper with a fire resistance potion. I grabbed it and then broke the blocks to allow the lava to flow again. Unfortunately, during the process, my pickaxe broke, but I knew I had no time, so I drank the potion and swam up the lava. After a moment of panicking because I couldn't see, I found the way out. I was in another room with what appeared to be a maze. I entered it, and after several minutes of backtracking and confusion, I finally made it to the exit. Suddenly, the ground began shaking, and I thought the whole place was going to collapse. Fortunately, it passed, but I knew something was wrong. I continued down the hallway, which led me to a large room. At first, there didn't appear to be anything there, but then I noticed that some of the blocks on the wall were different. Behind me, I found 3 different hallways. The center one I had entered through, but for the others, I had no idea where they went. I decided to go down the left hallway, and at the end of it, there was a pretty big drop into some water. I had no idea if I would be able to get back up, but I knew time was running out, so I just decided to go for it. At the bottom, I found another room. On the opposite wall, there was an empty cauldron, and in the floor, there was water flowing in a weird pattern. I didn't see what I was supposed to do, so I went over to examine the cauldron. I still found nothing, which just left me even more confused. I walked back over to the water, and this time noticed that the center water flow had a chest hidden under it. I opened it up, and inside found some coarse dirt. I decided to try and throw it into the water in front of me. The water pushed it to the end, and nothing happened. I decided to do the next water flow, and once again, nothing happened. I figured I was supposed to do something else with the dirt, but tried the last flow anyway. When the dirt reached the end, an empty bucket suddenly appeared in my inventory. I remembered the cauldron, so I grabbed some water and placed it into it, which caused it to give me a lever. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it, but with the water bucket, I knew I could get back, so I decided to just leave. When I returned to the main room, I saw the different blocks and decided to try placing the lever on it. I placed it, and when I flicked it, I heard the sound of something moving. I realized that I needed to trigger each of the blocks. I decided to go down the last remaining hallway, and at the end of it, I found another room with a bunch of wool blocks in the floor. They made an interesting pattern, but the blocks in the center were missing. In the wall appeared to be the 2 missing blocks, so I went up to them and broke them to grab them, but lava immediately started pouring out. I quickly grabbed the blocks and placed them in the missing spots, and was immediately given another lever. I exited the room before the lava got me, and then went back to the main room. I placed the lever and flicked it, and once again heard the sound, but nothing else happened. I still needed 2 more levers, and there appeared to be no more rooms. I decided to go back to the maze to see if I had missed something, and sure enough, after looking, I found a lever and an item frame. I grabbed it, placed it, but still needed 1 more. I decided to go back to the place with the cauldron, and after searching it, I didn't see anything. But as I was exiting, I noticed some grates near the water pool. I broke through one with my fist and swam through it. On the other side, I found that there was actually a lever hidden in an item frame. I grabbed it, scaled back up, and placed the lever. When I flicked it, a hidden doorway appeared in the opposite wall. I ran through it and into a hallway. The hallway led to some stairs, and at the top of them, I realized I was nearly free. I was now inside the mid-level of the pyramid. Now, my first thought was to try and mine my way out, but since the pyramid was was already about to collapse, trying to mine out would just cause it to fall right on me. This meant the only way out was up. I noticed some parkour nearby that appeared to go to the roof. I started it and was making pretty good progress when I came to something that stumped me. It led to a ladder that just goes to a dead end. I began looking around and realized there was a crawling tunnel next to me. I used the trapdoor to begin crawling and it led me to another ladder. I climbed up it and found myself in the center of the pyramid. I walked to the middle and looked down and saw the mummy. I looked up and saw the opening to the outside world, but it was still pretty far away. I looked around the chamber I was in and saw some water flowing down. I swam up it and it took me to another chamber, but the outside was still just out of reach, and I saw no way out. Suddenly the whole pyramid shook and I thought for sure I was going to die, but it passed and nothing appeared to happen. But after a bit, I realized that the chamber had actually cracked open at the bottom. I exited through the crack and realized just how high up I was. I looked around and found that there was a ladder running up one of the support beams. I climbed up it and it took me to the final and highest level. There was some fairly simple parkour which would take me to the top of the pyramid. I completed it with relative ease, and at the end of it I found myself at the top of the massive pyramid. But I wasn't quite safe yet. The pyramid was still going to collapse and now I was at the very top of it. I knew the locals were gonna literally kill me for breaking in, so I looked towards the river and luckily my ship awaited me. I sprinted down the pyramid and towards it, and I narrowly made it off the pyramid and onto the ship before the locals found me.